Hi guys, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast we have Heather Gay from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Season 3 of SLC premieres on Wednesday, September 28th at 9 p.m. on Bravo. I had somehow never gotten to interview Heather in the first 2 seasons, so it was awesome to get some time with her to kick off this season. And obviously, we all know this season's going to be a doozy. I mean, beyond the Jen Shah of it all, which is a lot. There's also obviously Meredith and Lisa falling out, or continuing to fall out. Whitney and Heather clearly have some drama. What I found interesting is that, like, from the trailer, from blind gossip things, from some interviews that Whitney has done, it seems like there's like this kind of big falling out between them, and they're not in a good place, and whatever. But when I talked about that with Heather in this interview, she has seemed surprised by how intense it's being portrayed to be, or that they aren't in a good place. It kind of came as a surprise to her, and she kind of unpacked that in real time in this interview, which I found very interesting. There's clearly more to work out there, but maybe more than she realized. But yeah, we touched on pretty much everything else. We talked about Meredith and Lisa. I was able to ask one question about Jen. That was a stipulation, and I'll let her answer speak for itself. We mentioned Mary and Jenny from last season and then not being here, and I thought that honestly her answer was really solid. And then we also touched upon Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 3, which filmed earlier this year, and she is on that cast, and it sounds like it's going to be another great iteration of Ultimate Girls Trip. And yeah, so keep listening for my interview with Heather Gay. Tune in to The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 3 premiere Wednesday, September 28th at 9 p.m. on Bravo. And please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. All right, so we're here with Heather Gay from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Heather, somehow this is the first time that I've interviewed you. I think I've interviewed everybody else in the cast several times, and somehow we just have never gotten time together. So I'm so excited to have you here. How are you?
This is our maiden voyage. I'm so happy to be here.
I love it. So are you, I mean, we're right on the heels of season 3. How are you feeling? It seems like a doozy.
It's a doozy. I'm excited about it. Like, it's just, the anticipation is like, Christmas Eve for 3 weeks before the season starts. And, it's an intense season, and so much happens and goes on. And I'm excited to watch it play out. Being a part of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has been, I'm just going to say, I've watched Housewives from the beginning, and I feel like we have been in like, I can't think of the word, like turbo years. Like, we have had sonic years. Like, every year has been 10 years with the drama we've experienced, the shifts in cast, the kind of issues. So I feel like it's season 3, but we're seasoned housewives.
No, you guys have been on the fast track, and you didn't waste any time just getting into like
the fast track.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's more so than any other franchise I think that's existed. So I think that you guys are well equipped to handle all of this stuff, but it's just the surprises keep coming. And Heather, I mean, first of all, I have to say, I'm glad to see the black eye is you're no longer rocking a black eye as we saw in the trailer. I mean, are we gonna?
It was hard seeing that again.
Are we gonna find out what was behind that?
Well, I mean, I hope so. Roll footage. This is like, if you tease it, you got to follow it through, right? So I didn't want to go on camera with that black eye, but this is the way they're following our lives and as they happen. And
yeah, totally. Well, I think the hashtag who clocked Heather campaign, it's gonna keep rolling. So
let me tell you, there are so many suspects, and the suspect list keeps like growing. We're not like ruling anybody out.
Got it. Well, I'm excited to go down that journey. But I feel like your biggest thing this season is going to be, we're going to be tracking sort of the lead up to the release of your book, Bad Mormon, and that comes out in February of next year. And you say in the trailer, I want to get the quote right. You say, or this is either the trailer or the first episode, you say, it ruined any chance you had at your family being supportive of you. And I'm curious, like, obviously you're going to go into more detail about your life and that aspect of your life in the book, but I guess in their mind, like, what what's the big difference between you writing the book and you sharing that part of your life on camera for the past 3 years? You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. And the truth is, like, I became a bad Mormon the second I decided to be a Real Housewife. So that shock and that Band-Aid's been ripped off. You know, my family has seen me, you know, make sex jokes and make, you know, drink on camera and not wear my garments and really not follow any of the tenets of our faith. But there's another layer to Mormonism, and it's a lot of our secret acts and rituals are sacred, and we don't ever share them. And to share them and speak them out loud is outer darkness, no question. And it's kind of like to speak those things out loud in the book, which is what I do. I talk about my experience in Mormonism. You know, it's kind of a love letter to the religion that broke my heart. And a big part of that religion was what they considered secret that I could never share. And so I did share a lot of that in the book. And I talk about things that other former Mormons refused to share because we have made covenants that we would rather suffer our own life be taken rather than reveal these secrets. And, you know, I had a great editor and she talked me into it. So what can I say?
And I think that a lot of people will benefit from reading that story. And like, I think there's also like, I mean, judging by the success of this show, but also like other shows that have aired in the past several years, like there's an interest in learning about that stuff. And I think that you're going to feed into that. And it must feel kind of freeing to know that like you're going to be there's one aspect of your life that people are not going to be supportive of you sharing these things, but there's going to be a whole other swath of people that you don't even know, but they're going to read this and they're going to support you and they're going to, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think especially like with the pandemic and Black Lives Matters, like we're really seeing transparency be, you know, necessary for every big corporation and religion. You know, like light is a disinfectant. So let's take away the secrecy, take away, you know, all of the clandestine activities and just be open about it. And I should have in America the right to do that. And it's shocking to me how polarizing it has been to say that I'm talking about my faith and everyone's like, well, you're not talking about the temple, are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm talking about the temple.
We're mentioning it all, right? You're mentioning it all.
And my friend list goes down every time. Like, I'm mentioning it all. I'm mentioning it all. Gibson, it all is out there. And people are definitely having a reaction. And I'm not doing it to be provocative. No. I'm doing it because it's what needs to happen for my memoir. That's it.
Yeah, totally. It's your life and it's your story to tell. And you have every right to tell that story, regardless of what anybody else tells you.
No one's going to outer darkness with me. I'm going to burn in outer darkness.
There we go, Heather. No. I'll be there with you. So in the first episode, we see that Whitney she's making strides to be excommunicated from the church officially by signing a document and sending in a letter. And you're very conflicted about that. You said that you're not there yet. And there's just a very interesting scene, I think. And I'm curious, I mean, we obviously know that you and Whitney have trouble this season. There's some sort of fallout that happens. And is this part of the kernel of what leads to more of the tension between you guys, or is that not related to what ends up happening between you?
Yeah, no, I would have to ask Whitney if that was related. I don't think that was related at all. I mean, the thing that was poignant about that for me is, you know, I'm kind of on a fast track of leaving Mormonism. I mean, I left on television, under scrutiny. I've had people in our community fact check me after every episode, criticize me after every episode. I've gotten trolled mercilessly from active Mormons because they feel threatened by, you know, just me speaking out. And having your name on the records of the church it's this weird indoctrinated thing where it's basically like a scripture where your name is blotted out and God remembers you no more, nor does your family, and nor, you know, you're gone forever. And so while I don't believe in the faith anymore, I don't believe in their database of names, I don't think that has any power over how I feel and how I conduct my life. I've hurt my family so much in so many ways, just effortlessly, that to do something that targeted, I don't have the strength yet to just flip them the double bird,
Right.
and
I get
it's
it.
really
Yeah.
out of respect for my family. It has nothing to do with my lingering faith or beliefs. Like that is all gone and buried. But everyone in my life that I love and cherish is, for the most part, Mormon or Mormon adjacent. And to them, it is a very, very significant, uh, aggressive move. And so that's
Right.
why I'm conflicted about it.
Yeah, totally. Um, so if that is not the kernel in your mind about what happens with you and Whitney, what is like what? Because to me, like it's pretty shocking that you guys have had such an intense fallout. To me, you two were a duo that just was
I know.
supposed to
Did we
always
have
last.
an intense fallout though? Is there an intense fallout? Like,
That's how it seems in the trailer. I mean, there's a big fight that we see on a trip.
I need a drink for this one. Like, I mean, we definitely have heated arguments where, you know, but I am loyal to a fault, and I want to always be friends. And even when people tell me to my face they don't like me, don't want to be a friend, I'm like, yet. But you're saying there's a chance, like I'm always hoping for I don't know what to say, like, because after doing press I'm getting bombarded with the fact that Whitney doesn't like me. Okay, message received. Whitney hates me now. I was unaware, and now I will have to react and respond to that. But guess what, I've been here before, and um I'm used to just kind of taking it, I guess, from my friends, and so I guess season 3 is going to be a lot more of what I'm used to.
Yeah, I see that. But so for you, I guess let me ask you this: like when you finished filming, and obviously you guys had some arguments while filming this season.
Yeah. But
Did
Whitney
you?
showed up for me all season. She was there for me in so many ways all season, and I didn't think the theme of the season was a falling out.
Right. So to you ended in a fine place with Whitney, but perhaps maybe you aren't, judging on some of the interviews that have been happening.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Press has informed me that I was wrong. No, I mean,
but I'm just sort of it's kind of blindsiding you, it seems. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like.
I thought Whitney and I had a foundation of friendship up to this moment right now that was that we would never go beneath or below. And so if it seems like I need to have some conversations with Whitney,
right,
or not. If she
I mean, your prerogative, your prerogative, Heather. So was it okay when you guys traveled to Thailand for girls trip? Yeah.
I mean, we had a few things that we were worked out that were lingering from just our experiences as friends, but like for the most part we enjoyed each other. It's hard, especially in a dynamic like that, like I love Whitney. She's who I want by my side. She's who I want to have all these adventures with and laugh with. And she knows me better than any of those other women. So it was just natural, to have her with me.
Yeah. Well, I have faith that you guys will figure it out in the long run, because I think that the first 2 seasons, from what we've seen, it's evidence of you guys having a strong connection and a fun relationship with one another and a loving relationship. So I hope you guys get back to that place. And I feel like you will at some point.
I mean, what are you going to do without bad weather? It can't be clear skies and sunny.
Hello. I told you it's rainy in New York today.
Yeah, hello, bad weather somewhere. I mean, we got to bring it. There's got to be a tornado.
I totally agree.
What I live for.
Yeah. All right. So Heather, I have to ask you the hard question about the Jen situation. You got flack for being very loyal and supportive to her. You said you're loyal to a fault, and admittedly so sometimes. And, it seems like she maintains her innocence this season until she pleads guilty, as the whole world knows. Does that feel like a betrayal to you? Do you feel duped by Jen Shah? And does that affect your relationship going forward with her?
Well, the fact that she's getting sentenced on November 28th affects everyone's relationship with her going forward, but I signed up for Jen day one. And if I'm going to ride with her when it's fun and high and she's the queen bee and MVP, then I'm going to ride with her when it's low, even if it means, you know, getting trolled by America. Because I ride hard for Jen Shah, you know, and I was absolutely devastated. I think as a lot of people that love her were, to have her plead guilty and face this. But I focused less on how I felt about it and what it meant for me and our friendship, and just focused on what that took for her to do and what that means for her family and how that kind of changed everything, you know? And so I've really just been thinking about her and what she's facing. And if the stakes were high when she was fighting for her innocence, the stakes are even higher now that she's being accountable for what she said she's done.
Again, I feel like there's only so much to talk about with it because we have no idea what's happening for the season from a viewer standpoint. So, and I doubt she's saying much otherwise since then. So, but I mean, it is interesting to see that it's you, Jen and Meredith as seeming trio this season. I mean, judging just by the trailer, social media, the first episode. But also what was interesting was that you and Lisa seem to be making inroads at the beginning of this season, where you say, and I laughed at this. You were like, she must be scraping the bottom of the barrel if she's coming to you for support and guidance. Does that not last? Does that kind of fumble at some point during this season 3?
Yeah, you know, Lisa and I are always going to struggle. And that's kind of the fun and terrible part about our dynamic. But the truth is, I respect Lisa immensely. And Lisa never doesn't show up as Lisa Barlow. And I appreciate that in her. And, you know,
Same.
I'm not going to say I've known her for 20 years because I don't want to trigger her. But like, I loved that she scraped the bottom of the barrel. I know I'm not who she wants to go to lunch with. I know the last thing she wants to do is ask me to reach out to Meredith on her behalf, but absolutely I would want to do that. And I want nothing more than to just prove to her that like I'm worthy of her friendship, you know? And that's been a battle for a while, and it probably will be my entire life, but you know what? I'm ready for it. Like, I'll just keep chugging along, trying to win her over. And, you know, I love the conflict with her because she challenges me and she triggers me. And I think I'm just cool as a cucumber until Lisa Barlow comes in the room and I lose my shit, you know? And I appreciate that about her. I do, because it's,
she keeps you on your toes.
What you need to change and learn, right?
Totally. Yep, exactly. And I loved that in that lunch that we see in the premiere, you're really honest with her. You're like, no, like, I think that what you said about Meredith last season on the hot mic is what you think about her. Like, and you didn't let her sort of take the easy road out in that conversation. And I think that in some ways that's what a really good friend does to somebody, and they tell them the hard truth. And you know, I guess I'm curious, like, from your perspective, is the Lisa Meredith divide that we're seeing, because there's already some like nasty stuff flying back and forth between them in this first episode, is that mendable? Is that something they can come back from?
I think absolutely. I mean, I know I'm a little bit Pollyanna with this, but absolutely, I think their friendship is mendable. I mean, they have so much in common, starting from the fact that neither of them can twerk to the fact that they can No, I mean, I think just when you look at our group of friends, it just makes sense that Lisa and Meredith would be friends. You know, they're like the two swans that are like cooler than all of us. So there has to be reproach there. There has to be reconciliation, and it will take time because Meredith is, you know, she's not as easily swayed as the rest of us are by Lisa's, you know, style and charm. And, you know, Lisa's a big city girl, and it's easy to get lost in the star power of her, you know. Same with Jen.
For sure. Yeah.
But Meredith is immune to all of that.
And Meredith also like stays, and she's very staunch in what she believes in certain conflicts and things like that. But I guess since you've become so close with Meredith, you must do you sense that there's an opening at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Because Meredith is a reasonable, measured, intelligent woman, and she's emotionally mature, and she knows that it doesn't benefit her at all to stay in a place of conflict. I don't think she'll ever I don't think any of us would ever get back to where we were after a truth dump like that. That's a lot to overcome. It changes you. But I tell Meredith all the time, she's like the human embodiment of hobnob. And so she will be able to hobnob with Lisa Barlow again. I have no doubt. And that is like my greatest hope and wish for both of them, because it'll be a lot more fun for the rest of us, honestly.
And honestly, Lisa Barlow seems like a fun person to hobnob with. So like, who wouldn't want to?
She's who you want to hobnob with. Like,
exactly.
Meredith knocking on my door. Like, I've got some fancy parties. Can you throw on some sweats? She wants Lisa, you know, and I know. So I got to get them back. I got to get them back to like hanging out.
Heather, I'm trusting in you, because I think I agree that they're such good TV together, and the relationship makes sense, and so it
does.
I don't want it to get too dark between them. I want them to come back. So I don't know.
I don't think it can get darker than
I think you're
a piece of garbage whore that half New York. So I think it's only up from here.
Oh my God! You really can't make this SHIT up. Like, you just can't. You
cannot make this SHIT up. And the effing POS GWs of the world know this. They live in shame.
I want to ask you about a quote that you say in the trailer. You say, "We're pulling out a thread on a sweater, and this is not the end. This is the beginning." Do you remember what that's about?
Yes, I do.
What is that about?
Next question.
Okay.
No. It's in reference to the unraveling dynamic amongst all of the women.
Okay.
Nothing is as simple as it seems, and nothing is as simple as it, and that's a good thing, I think, when it's complicated, because we are dynamic, complicated, conflicted, messed up women. And, you know, I always say it's like you throw us in the bag and it's like Yahtzee. You know, you put personalities like this in a room and we are going to push and pull and challenge each other. And that is what makes them great friends to be around and great people. You know, I have definitely grown and changed so much and been held accountable to my own self and my own behaviors because of them. And like, that's what real friendship is, right?
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. Two more topics I just want to touch on before we sign off. One is, obviously, at the end of last season, around the reunion, there was a lot of controversy around Mary, around Jenny, around all of that whole situation.
Yeah.
Was any of that discussed during filming this season? Like, what, or was that left off the table? Is there anything you can say about that?
Well, I'm trying to say this articulately, like, don't know what you got till it's gone. I think we all were surprised at how much we missed Mary Cosby, you know, because she was hard, because she read us like scripture, and that was kind of great in a way. And I haven't really talked to anyone specifically about it, and Jen would disagree, but you know, there's something about that type of personality that really I miss, you know. I miss like having to be on point, because if I wasn't, Mary would call me out, you know. Totally. And so I do miss Mary, even though, you know, we had conflict forever, but we don't speak of Jenny Wynn.
I think I'm on that page. I think that's a good mentality to have, given what happened. And then let's end on a fun note, which is you are on Ultimate Girls Trip 3. Whenever that comes, it's going to be a blessing. I know it is. It's a great group of women.
I mean, how did I get on it? It felt like the heavens opened and COVID somehow, you know, gave me an opening. And
right, totally. There. Yeah. So, I mean, look, tell me if you can tell me this. Who did you like hit it off with the most, and who did you have the most tension with on that trip?
Well, out the gate, like I was peas in a pod with Alexia and Marisol. Like, I could move in, sleep in their bed, sleep at the foot of their bed, sleep on the floor, next to their bed and have the time of my life. Like, they were absolutely 100% there for me from out the gate. And we kind of knew, we had seen each other's shows. I think we kind of knew that we were going to get along and have a great time. I was scared that Candace was going to read me for filth. And I told her that, I was like, at some point you're going to read Whitney for filth or me for filth, and I'm here for it, because I wanted to see her in her moment. But surprisingly, we got along famously. I enjoyed her so much and just clung to her and hung out with her a lot. Like, I felt like she was my person in many, many ways, and Whitney's as well. She was just great. And that was the surprise, because I had watched Potomac and I just thought she would have no palate for me whatsoever. I thought she would just dismiss me the second she met me. And she was not like that at all. And we had so much fun, and she's really smart and talented and cool. And I loved that. And then Portia, I don't know how to say, but Portia is a queen. Portia has star power,
a legend.
Queen power.
Yeah.
She imbues everything with like regalness. I mean, we're mourning the death of Queen Elizabeth, and I'm like, don't worry, we got Portia Williams. I'm not worried. One bit.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
So just being around her, was incredible. And we talked a lot about motherhood, and I just watched and observed her and like just admired her so much. And it was a great trip. And I loved Lee. I mean, I loved everyone. I felt honored to be there. I felt unworthy to be there. And I was so sweaty and so struggling the whole time that I hope that they've edited me out of it entirely.
No, Heather, we need you. And it sounds like with Candace, it's one of those things where it's like, you had low expectations of you guys hitting it off at all, and then to surpass, you were going to surpass that anyway. You know what I mean? And so I think that's kind of the way to be. Which is, it sounds like
it was like a hidden surprise. Candace likes me. What?
Oh, that's amazing. I can't wait to watch that, and obviously can't wait to watch season 3 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I also can't wait to read Bad Mormon. I'm sure it's going to be incredible and just so honest.
Are you really going to read it?
100%. No, I'm going to read it, and you're going to come back on the show, Heather. I just had Wendy Osefo on, and I read her book because it just came out this week. And nice. I think a lot of the times, we obviously know you guys from these shows, but they're ensembles. And so you only get so much time to really go deep into your personal stories. And a book is a great medium to be able to do that. So I'm excited to get to know you more when that comes out next year. I really am.
I'm excited. Don't disown me. Just keep me on your friend list.
You could be in my friend list forever, Heather. So
if my followers drop 100,000, those are all the Mormons.
You can blame me.
They're just like getting out of Dodge. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being so generous with your time today. And I hopefully I'll see you at BravoCon. Yeah, for sure you'll see me at BravoCon. And like, how was your maiden voyage interviewing me? Was it everything you wanted it to be? Everything. Everything. You're great. You're a great interview. I'm a sleeper. I was expecting greatness, so. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. That's flattering. Thank you. I love it. Oh my God. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of the sunlight over there in Salt Lake City. I'll go out into rainy New York, and it was great to talk to you. And I will join you in rainy New York in a few weeks. Perfect. So, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait either. Thanks so much. Bye, Heather. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to We Should Talk. I hope you enjoyed the interview. You can find out more about In the Know at intheknow.com. You can follow me, Gibson Johns, at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram. And you can listen to all of our interviews, past and future, by searching We Should Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Hope to see you next time.